this briefing, we will cover how to roll to a moderate angle of bank, including the secondary effects of the controls and how to compensate for them. In the last briefing, we introduced that the primary effect of the aileron is to roll the glider. However, there is also a smaller secondary effect of yaw. We call this adverse yaw. For example, in a roll to the right, the glider will yaw to the left. The cross shows the direction the glider is facing. Notice how as the glider rolls to the right, the adverse yaw to the left makes it appear that the nose is pitching up. Also notice how the yaw string has swung out to the left, showing that the glider is yawing to the left. We can correct for this by applying right rudder, bringing the yaw string back into the center. The rudder also has a secondary effect. In this case, yawing the glider will cause a secondary effect of roll. For example, a yaw to the right will cause the glider to roll to the right. Notice how as the glider yaws to the right, it also rolls to the right despite the stick being centralized. The final effect we shall cover is the nose drop during a roll. To explain this, we must cover some basics about the forces in flight. The lift force is always generated perpendicular to the wings. In straight flight, this balances out the weight. However, when the glider is banked, the lift force is acting off at an angle. The vertical component of the lift is less than the weight. As the vertical forces are no longer balanced, there is a small downwards net force. This net force causes the nose to drop and the glider to speed up. The greater the angle of bank, the greater the net force, and thus the more the nose will drop. This can easily be compensated for by gently pulling back on the stick. Remember that when you level the wings, this effect disappears, and so you need to ease off that back pressure or the nose will rise as the wings come level. Thus, a fully coordinated roll has three components: rolling the glider with the stick, preventing adverse yaw with the rudder, and preventing nose drop by applying back pressure on the stick. Mastering the coordination of all three controls is the first major hurdle for new glider pilots and comes with plenty of practice. The air exercises associated with this briefing include the instructor demonstrating the secondary effects of the controls and how to coordinate them. The student should then practice rolling to and from moderate angles of bank. There are no specific threats or errors to be concerned about in this exercise. However, the usual issues of collision, distance to the airfield, and pupil error or adverse reaction should be considered. These can be managed in turn by maintaining a good lookout, monitoring the distance and height from the airfield, especially when you're downwind, and the instructor taking control if the pupil makes any mistakes.